Hey guys, this is Camfrey15 and the Red Wolf again.
The Dynamic Brothers! What,
Okay.
Consume?
Denzel's word of the day, our phrase of the day. Um, we are back here with another.
I don't want to do this video anymore.
We're back here with another One Piece arc review video this Sunday. In this video, we're talking about. Huh?
Can I have that hat?
Oh my goodness! No. We're talking about the final two arcs before the main final arc of the Alabasta saga, and that is Little Garden and Drum Island. Little Garden, where we're introduced to more Baroque Works members and Dory and Broggy, the Giants, and we get some information about Elbaf and all that stuff. And then Drum Island, when we get introduced to our new little crewmate in Chopper. So yeah. Um, anyways, let's get into it because these arcs we have a lot to talk about here. So Little Garden. I watched a little bit of Little Garden this past week, and pretty much it's a interesting arc to say the least. You know, it's essentially an island where it's full of let's just say prehistoric things. Um, it is an interesting island. We do find out that the log pose on Little Garden doesn't reset for a whole year. Yeah, I don't think they can stay here very long because if a whole year passes by, one, I think Alabasta's good as gone and stuff like that. So yeah. Um, Little Garden, you know, it's interesting because we get introduced to two new characters in Dory and Broggy. And they're obviously from the country of Elbaf, which even till this day, people ask, are we going to get an Elbaf arc potentially? We don't know currently where it's at. It's more than likely probably somewhere in the New World. We don't know if we'll focus on that. If there's gonna be that's gonna be the next arc in One Piece, but it would be cool to see Elbaf. But Dory and Broggy, they're two giants who have essentially been fighting for centuries, over like a long time. And the question you're wondering, how are they able to fight for like nearly decades? They said that
They are men.
well, that and they're giants, which is another race, and they're completely different from humans. And giants, their average lifespan is 3 times of that of a normal human, which when we get to the next arc, Drum Island, we can see that normal humans can live up to damn near 150 years of age and not come down with anything. Well, yeah, if you're speaking in Dr. Crayot's terms. But yeah, so these two characters, they've been fighting for this long, and what happens is when they finally arrive at Little Garden, Luffy, Vivi, and Karu actually go and venture off and kind of want to explore the island. Luffy gets caught up with these brachiosauruses who try to eat them, even though I don't think brachiosauruses are carnivores. But,
aren't they supposed to be vegetarian?
Yeah. Maybe they were like some aggressive brachiosauruses. Because of it, Luffy ends up getting eaten by one.
One Piece. I have some questions about your logic.
Thanks to I believe it's Broggy, right? Broggy's the tall one.
I think.
Hold on. I got the manga. Okay. My bad. It's not Broggy. They see Dory because Dory actually cuts off one of the Brachiosaurus's heads off, and Luffy just spits out. And he's saved by Dory. And that's when Dory tells him all the information about giants and stuff like that. And he later invites him over to his little, I guess, residence where he's staying at to eat food and stuff like that. Now, in the meantime, on the ship, Zoro and Sanji, they start a little challenge against one another, and that's who can catch a bigger meat than the other.
Those two.
Uh, which, if you've been watching One Piece or been reading One Piece, you know the one thing about Zoro and Sanji is they have a butting heads rivalry. And this is the start of their butting heads rivalry. And I think this is, well, from what I read, well, from what I've seen, I know they call each other Zoro and Sanji later on, but if you wanted to be honest, this is the last time they really identified their names, like, for the last time.
Yeah.
Because,
Later on, it's just gonna be Mosshead and Spiral Brows.
our cook.
Spiral Brows.
So, yeah, they're kind of, we'll talk about that right now because it's kind of a little side plot thing. It was funny, just to see all this because, one, you see Sanji fight a legit Tyrannosaurus Rex, and then you have Zoro fighting a Triceratops, and they come back to each other, and they're both arguing, oh, mine's bigger, but mine's fatter. Yeah, and it's like, bruh, come on, they're both dinosaurs to eat. Jesus. And they're like, listen, at the end of the volcano erupting, that's when the next, okay, we're through, with this challenge stuff done. And yeah, so it's funny. It's funny. It's a nice little funny rivalry. What did you think of it?
My God, I'm at the moment like, oh boy, and there's going to be more of those moments between those two. Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's the start of butting heads rivalry. In the meantime, Usopp and Nami, who are the two weakest crew members on the crew, are kind of left all alone, and they're all scared. And the next thing you know, they see this huge tiger that looks like it's about to attack them. But then that's when Broggy comes in and kind of saves them. Well, no, actually, that's later on. Broggy actually runs into them to their ship, and they actually get scared. They try to pretend to play dead because Broggy's actually asking if they got alcohol, but they don't have the type of alcohol that's drinking kind. They get too freaked out because Broggy actually screams, but you see that a freaking dinosaur bites his butt, and he's like, ah! That's when they're like, ah! And then they just play dead. So, so then he actually picks them up, takes them back to his place, and they're just over there playing dead, trying to find some way to escape this because they think Broggy's going to kill them because he's talking about, oh, this is gonna be great for dinner tonight and stuff like that. And they think they're gonna be the ones to be cooked. And it's a funny gag where Nami and Usopp go back and forth saying, man, he's just, because even after they get to know Broggy, he's asking, you should really eat this meat. I found it funny. We're like, oh, he's just trying to stuff us up so we can be eaten by him later, which I found much more hilarious when he said that. But the thing is, what is it? We find out mostly between, Luffy, Vivi, and Dory, and then obviously what's going on with Usopp's little gang with Broggy. We see that both sides of the Giants are explaining their backstories from where they came from, which is Elbaf, and obviously, like we all know, the reason why they're on Little Garden is because they had like some kind of disagreement, and the thing on Elbaf is if two giants have a disagreement, they have to have essentially a duel, and they can't go back to Elbaf until that duel is completed, whoever the victor is. And the fact that they've been fighting over for all these centuries and stuff like that, like they had I think they said 700, 700 something draws and stuff like that. And obviously you see now, one, I don't know how you're having 700 draws. That's almost like playing somebody in Pokemon and always time because the timer runs out.
constant breaks, even though they never hit each other. I don't know.
Yeah. So it's interesting, but the cool thing we do see about Dory and Bragi is they have a respect from amongst each other, and that's the one thing I do like. It's not like pure hatred because even they say because they ask like because I think it's Vivu asked like why would you be fighting over centuries over something? Do you even remember? And Dory's like, to be honest, I really don't remember. I honestly forgot after all this time. We just fight to fight. It's just honestly become a tradition and stuff like that, which is, it shows the fact that, maybe at first when they were first dueling, they had a hated disagreement and they probably disliked each other because of it. But then over time, these duels created a bond between amongst each other, and they became friends essentially, or I guess common, people who have respect for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Pretty manly.
Oh yes, as Usopp says, which inspires Usopp obviously because the thing about Usopp is we all know he wants to see Elbaf because he's inspired by Dory and Bragi, which it inspires his dream on, I guess you can say, wanting to become a brave warrior of the sea and stuff like that. Now, Vivi actually talks about some things, and her thing here in this thing, because in really the next two arcs, she kind of gets developmental stuff on how, just how she's, fit. One, obviously, starting off with the Straw Hat crew, way before they get to Little Garden, she thinks that, Luffy and the others just mess around and they act like kids and stuff like that, because you see on the ship, they're drinking these shakes, and they mess around with Karu and stuff like that, and they're just having fun. But then Nami comes in and she's like, hey, look, you don't need to worry about these dudes. Listen, when it's time to get serious, these dudes will get serious when it happens. And, you see them get into a storm or something like that. And you see that they get really serious. And they're like, obviously like, ready to handle anything. And obviously you see Vivi seeing this. So the one thing I like about Vivi is she's like, she thinks the Straw Hat crew, other than Nami, is like just childlike and they mess around for fun, but you see that no, when they have to get serious, they really get serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then Vivi in this arc, she kind of questions really, like, why have pointless things or why have what?
I hear a door.
Oh, that's my dad.
Hey, Mr. Winfrey.
Oh, he's gone. He's taking a shower.
Oof.
And the thing about Vivi is she questions, certain things that have spawned over years, and she's like, "Why would you do this? Why would you do that?" And stuff like that. And then Vivi's little lesson here is to be like, even over time, some things you might have in the past will either go away or kind of drop away, and you might not take it as seriously as you used to. And I think that's kind of Vivi's little character growth here in the Little Garden arc. Now, I personally like her little character growth moment in Drum Island because it teaches her how, how she wants her country to be run or ruled by. Anything you gotta say about Vivi and pertain to the Little Garden arc and her ideals on what she thinks?
Mm, I think you can explain a bit better for me.
Okay. So anyways, the volcanoes go off. Dory and Bragi, that's their signal to start fighting. And they fight and stuff like that. Their duel ends because they tied yet again. And Bragi being, a good person is like, hey, I have some alcohol, I got from some people. Would you like some alcohol and stuff like that to drink and things? And, Dory's like, okay, I'll take it. So he takes the drinks. And obviously after the draw, this is when we cut over to what a certain Mr. 3 of Baroque works along with his little, I guess, partner, Miss Golden Week. Again, naming the tradition. The guys are lettered by numbers, while the girls are by a day or a certain holiday.
Is that how it works?
Yeah, because all Miss Sunday, Miss Wednesday, Miss Valentine, Miss Golden Week. I don't know what that. I guess that's just for reference to the week, just the entire week. Now the thing is, they get a call to go. They get a call because they hear Mr. Five and Miss Valentine actually failed on their mission. So they head to Little Garden. And also another thing we also see is Mr. Five and Miss Valentine have returned. So they find Mr. Three's hidden base, which is some little, I guess, created house and stuff like that. So they agreed to work together. Now, when Dory drinks the alcohol, or actually, before I talk about this, what were your thoughts on Mr. Three and Miss Golden Week when they were first introduced?
They kind of look like they kind of look like pushovers at the very beginning, but after seeing their powers in action, and at that time, I was like, well, this could be a problem.
Mm-hmm. So, anyways, Dory actually drinks the alcohol that Broggy gave him. But what happens, Denzel? Yes. It explodes, and internally, Dory is messed up. Now, the thing is, what happens is Baroque Works tampered with the alcohol on the Straw Hat Pirates ship. And I believe this was way back in, back in Whiskey Peak, but no. I think it happened on Little Garden off screen. They found the Straw Hat Pirate ship. They tampered with the alcohol there. And obviously that went to having Broggy or Dory injured. And because of it, that was the first step in Baroque Works' plan and Mr. Three's plan, because when back in their little base area, they see that Dory and Broggy have wanted posters. So obviously they have bounties on their head because they're a part of a giant pirate crew, essentially. So their plan is to essentially, obviously, get them and achieve those bounties. So they try to take out Broggy first with the, I guess, you can say hacked alcohol. Now, Dory thinks Luffy and Vivi were the ones that did this and stuff like that. So, Vivi and Luffy are like, look, we didn't do nothing, but we all know Luffy. What does he end up doing?
What does he end up doing?
He picks a fight with a giant. And let this be known, this is Luffy pre-time skip Luffy before Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd and all the hockey stuff fighting a giant. And it was kind of a 50-50 battle, to be honest. Now, Dory realizes Luffy does have devil fruit power since he can stretch, but Luffy actually beats Dory, mostly because of the injuries Dory suffered and stuff like that. But the volcano goes off again, and we all know what happens when the volcano goes off. Now, Vivi and Dory knowing like, okay, you guys were telling the truth. You didn't tamper with these alcohol, but I'm still gonna go fight because that's the thing, the signal. And Luffy and Vivi, they're like, look, you can't do this, Broggy. You're going to die. And he's like, I'm sorry. As a man, as a giant, as a man of honor, I have to go fight. And Luffy trying to stop him, but the thing is, Broggy gets a huge rock, dumps it on Luffy's back, and if you're questioning how Luffy's still alive, he's a rubber man, so he essentially is flat from the inside down. He kind of seals Luffy off, and Luffy's stuck here. And Vivi's all left, and he goes on to fight Broggy. Now, this is a very emotional fight because you know what's going to happen. You're like, Dory's freaking hurt, and Broggy doesn't know. They clash. And then, now, in the meantime, what happens is, now Zoro, this is what Zoro's thing. Zoro, he's like, he ends up getting lost because that's his thing. And he's trying to find his way. He runs into what apparently is Nami, which we later find out is a wax model of Nami. So then he gets captured by Baroque works. Nami and Usopp, they actually run off because things happen, and Usopp runs so fast, he actually leaves Nami in the dust and leaves her all by herself. She actually finds, I think, another wax statue. She ends up getting caught. Now, one, Usopp's so afraid that he runs 10 times faster than Nami. So in the meantime, he thinks Nami has gotten eaten by an animal that was chasing them, actually. He actually runs into Vivi and Luffy, and he's like, Luffy, I'm so sorry. Nami, she got eaten. And Luffy's like, she got eaten? Come on. And so now Vivi's like, yo, calm down. I guarantee you Nami's fine. But then this is when things go from bad to worse, because that's when Luffy and Vivi tell the others about the other giant, which is Dory, and how Brogy's fighting him, but fighting him injured, and the fact that the tampered alcohol bin are barrels. And the moment you see something happen, you see Dory start to lose his fight. Brogy's getting the upper hand. All you see is just a splatter of blood, and they turn around. They're like, oh no. And Dory goes down, and Dory wins the duel. What were you thinking in this moment, Denzel?
Did you just say Dory wins the duel?
I mean, Broggy wins the duel. My bad. What were you thinking in this moment, Denzel, when you saw
that? My mouth was like.
Yeah, I was like, the damn Baroque works. If anything, didn't get bad enough. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine show up in front of Vivi, Luffy, and Usopp. Now, this week, I have the devil fruits ready. I have the devil fruits for their devil fruits ready. Okay. So, as the thing loads up, Mr. Five's devil fruit is the Bomo Bomo no Mi. And its English translation is either you can call it the Boom Boom fruit or the Bomb Bomb fruit. Either or, it's the same thing. Now, I thought I had Miss Valentine's devil fruit here. Actually, let me pull it up. Hold on for a second. All right, back. Okay, so Miss Valentine's devil fruit is called the Kilo Kilo, or the Kiro Kiro no Mi. In other words, its English translation is the Kilo Kilo fruit or the Pound Pound fruit. Obviously, as we all know, Mr. Five, his thing is picking his nose, bombing something. Miss Wednesday, essentially make herself heavy. And again, like I said last week, you probably don't want her sitting on top of you.
Did you say Miss Wednesday? What wasn't that Vivi's?
Oh no, Miss Valentine. My bad. Thank you for correcting me, Denzel. But I was saying last week, you probably don't want Miss Valentine sitting on top of you, especially if she decides to, I don't know, maybe put a 10,000 pound smash on you, like she did with Usopp.
And I know there are going to be some of those perverts who think they would enjoy it.
I think that would totally break your, you know what, but apparently Usopp can take a 10,000 kilo attack from her, like legit. He gets smashed on, and I'm like, yeah, please tell me how you survived that. No, if this is real world physics, you get smushed. Your interior bones probably break and you die because of it. Now, I'm a fan of Miss Wednesday. I mean, not Miss Wednesday. Well, I am a fan of Miss Wednesday, Vivi, but I am also a fan of Miss Valentine. Just because of her looks. Now, Usopp and Vivi tried to fight back violently, but that all proves nothing. Because what happens is Carter actually was going on, looking around in the forest. He actually ran into them, they bring back Kara, who's all beat up and bombed on and stuff like that. And Vivi gets rightfully pissed because that's her duck and that's her friend, or her pet or whatever you want to call her. So she brings out her peacock strings, but sadly, even though I do like the fact that Vivi, when she has no choice but to fight, she'll fight. But she kind of gets owned here by what's going on, and she gets captured and taken hostage. Now, why they didn't take Usopp along with them? No clue, because if that's the case, I think they would have won because nobody would have got Luffy out of the freaking wall on the wall. And I think our pirate crew would have been turned into bless you.
Thank you.
Wax fruits. I mean wax statues. So now a beat up Luffy and a beat up Karu actually dig Luffy out under there. But we get introduced to, Vivi, Nami, and Zoro, who are all tied up and captured. They run into, obviously Mr. 3, who I like his design, I'll say this. I like the fact that at the top of his head, he's got a top knot that says number 3 with a fire on top of it. A little flame, just hinting or knowing that his powers are essentially a candle. Now, his devil fruit, which we later find out is the Doro Doro no Mi, which in English translation is the wax fruit. Essentially, he just turns things into wax, like a candle, essentially. Now, they actually end up catching Broggy because Mr. 3 actually tells Broggy, oh, I was the one that tampered with the alcohol and made your friend fall very dead. So I bet you're very much relieved, and he kind of is antagonizing him and stuff like that. So Broggy gets really freaking pissed, but thanks to his wax fruit powers, he traps Broggy into this handcuffing trap, and he seals him down. Now, in the meantime, Vivi actually knows of Mr. 3, and Mr. 3 is one of the more feared Baroque Works members, along with Miss Golden Week, and so it cuts from that, and Mr. 3 creates essentially what looks to be a candle birthday cake full of wax.
He's quite artistic. I'll give him that.
Yeah. So he stacks right next to Broggy. He stacks Nami, Zoro, and Vivi all together, and they are stuck on this wax thing, and they're sewed shut. Now, I just want to make a quick question. They obviously untied them from their little things, but maybe that was when they finally sealed them in the wax, I guess. Because I was about to say, like, when did Zoro be able to fight out of this? But who knows? Anyways, the thing is, he gets the little top part with the candles, which are lit, to start spinning, and what is Mr. 3's plan, Denzel?
To candleize them, I guess, pretty much.
Essentially, turn them to wax statues.
Yeah.
To say that's a very sadistic and cruel way to kill somebody, you can clearly see that Mr. 3, if he gets to it, he can be very sadistic. Like literally just having somebody probably inhale wax and probably have the interiority of their bodies turn into wax, as well as on the exterior, turn into wax statues. It's pretty dark if you ask me. Now Luffy and Usopp and Karu, they end up getting to the battlefield area. So it seems like all hope is lost. Now this is before Broggy actually tries to break out of the wax. He actually ends up doing it, and it looks like, oh, Broggy's gonna get the upper hand. He's gonna sock it and give it to Mr. 3. Mr. 5 says, from Stone Cold Steve Austin's perspective, that ain't happening. He flicks his little booger thing, bombs him, and then what does Mr. 3 do?
start candlizing him too.
Yeah, and to make sure he stays put, he legit kind of crucifies him or puts nails, wax nails into the ground, which not only stabs his hands, but his foot too, or his feet. And I was like, ah! Which kind of seals Broggy in place because the only way he's breaking out of that is if he literally rips his hand out of the freaking ground, which again is really freaking disturbing to watch. So again, Luffy, Usopp, and Karu get there. Now the thing is, Usopp ends up finding Mr. Five and Miss Valentine. He actually ends up beating them surprisingly. Also, even before that, actually, there was a part where because there was no point, and it looked like all hope was lost because Zoro was like, "Listen, unless we get out of here, we're doomed." And he tells Broggy, "Hey, look, if you're willing to sacrifice your limbs to fight, I'll do it." And Zoro is legit willing to sacrifice his own feet and fight and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, now I don't know how he was going to fight without feet because you would think you would need your swords to stand up on, but it was probably better that Luffy and Usopp showed up. Even to the point, Vivi was like, okay, if you're going to do it, then I'll do it. I'm like, Vivi's willing to do this? I don't think Daddy will be happy. You
Yeah.
saying?
I was like, you gotta be kidding.
Yeah. I was like, okay, this is crazy. So Vivi obviously was like, look, at this point, we're fighting a losing battle, so I guess we're just gonna go down trying. But like I said, Luffy shows up. They get into a battle with the Broke Works members. Now Luffy ends up fighting Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week. Now, the funny thing is, they tell him, look, save us, Luffy. And this dumb idiot Luffy, he tries to knock down the candle thing. Obviously, that's a smart thing to do. But he kind of knocks down the spinning thing, and it only speeds up the process of them turning into wax figurines, essentially. Then you got Zoro do a funny comedic gag like, well, if we're going to die here, I might as well get in this pose. And Vivi and Nami literally serious. I'm like, well, at least Zoro's not afraid of dying.
Yeah, at least.
It's funny because one of the line, somebody asked him like, "Why are you doing that?" And he's like, "Well, if I want to die, I want to die an honorable death. So I'm gonna go out in style."
I mean, he took a blow from Mihawk through the chest, so of course, you know.
Yeah. Now Usopp, from what I don't remember, I believe he actually used Mr. Five's power against him, which he gives him one of his spicy stars, or his fire stars. It goes into Mr. Five's mouth, and he gets really hot and kind of blows up because his power is the boom boom fruit, and he kind of blows himself from the interior. Don't ask me how he didn't blow up entirely. Okay.
An eye for an eye, pretty much, since he blew up the giant.
Yes. Now Miss Valentine, she kind of just gets let's just say she kind of overvalues her weight and she dumps herself into the ground, which she's down for the count. I don't know why, but that's the problem when you use over like, my goodness, I don't even want to know. Again, would I like her on top of me if she's not using the weights? Yes. But if she's using the weight structure, no. I do not want 10,000 on my, Gazelle, did you run away?
No, I died.
Okay. Now Luffy ends up fighting Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week. We're seeing that Mr. 3 with his wax powers is becoming an issue for Luffy. But there was this one part where Luffy actually uses his wax powers against Mr. 3 and almost kills him. It also helps That's also the main reason why, the spinny thing actually got down on a different level than they did. Now, it looks now, obviously, Nami's telling us, look, just hurry up and save us, please. But then that's when Luffy's like, no, I don't wanna.
I remember that. I remember that scene.
And obviously the others are like, what's going on here? And Denzel, please explain to us what Miss Golden Power is.
What's her name again?
Miss Golden Week.
So apparently Miss Golden Week has that drawing abilities where she can pretty much play around with Luffy's emotional and physical abilities. I don't know how it works exactly.
Yeah. She essentially makes it one of the first things is she makes it where Luffy doesn't want to do anything. It's like him being lazy essentially. Like there's another thing where he's actually sipping tea with her. I'm like, huh? He's like, I actually rather have some tea right now. I'm like, does Luffy even drink tea? I don't even know. Then I believe it was thanks to Usopp. He manages to save Luffy. They beat Miss Golden Week. They end up saving obviously Nami, Zoro, and Usopp and Broggy. And then that's when we have the final battle with Mr. 3. Now Mr. 3 tries to do I guess you can say a version of the after image technique or the multiple person techniques. Shadow Clone Jutsu, even though I don't watch Naruto, or the double team technique from Pokemon. He kind of tries to does that and mess up with Luffy's mind, but Luffy sees it coming, and he knocks out Mr. 3, and he wins the fight.
Yeah, Mr. 3 is like, how did you know it was me? And Luffy's all just like, a hunch.
Yeah, essentially he just was guessing from the top of his thing. Now, in the meantime, what happened with Sanji is he actually came across Mr. 3's wax building, a little house, and this is a very clutch moment by Sanji. So what Sanji does is he gets on, because this transponder snail is ringing. He picks it up, and we hear our infamous Mr. Zero on the line, which we all know is Crocodile. So essentially, what Sanji does is he kind of tricks Crocodile into thinking that he's Mr. 3, because the thing is, all the Baroque Works agents don't know each other. They were just recruited and they were stationed and they're just told, go here and do your stuff. So Crocodile thinks, he's Mr. 3. Bad thing is he doesn't know he's Sanji, which is another good thing. Sanji kind of lies by saying that, oh, yes, the Strike Crew, yeah, they've already been taken care of. We killed them and stuff like that, knowing short and well that Baroque's work is after them. So that kind of leaves their cover under wraps. In the meantime, the Unluckies show up, but Sanji kind of beats them up really easily. Now, he almost blows his cover by saying, oh, it was actually one of the Strike members. I thought they died, but they died for sure. And Crocodile's like, I thought you said a few minutes ago you killed them. But he's like, well, they're killed now. So for the time being, Crocodile believes this, but I think we all know that Crocodile doesn't believe this and stuff like that. So so he kind of hangs up. That's over with. We actually find out that Dory isn't dead. He somehow survived. And him and Broggy reunite, and Broggy apologizes for not recognizing that he was obviously messed up. They kind of have a nice little party, a nice little celebration. Now, obviously, we know the thing is that, they can't leave the island because a year hasn't passed, but they desperately need to get to Alabasta, like Vivi says. Now, the plan is, what essentially is, they're just going to sell it to the next island, regardless of where they go to. So they sell out, and we see this giant ass goldfish about to swallow them. But the thing is, Broggy and Dory tell them, look, Just keep sailing straight. We got your backs on this one. And obviously, I think Denzel remembers this.
Hmm.
So, what do they do, Denzel?
They go into the mouth and then out the end, pretty much.
Yeah, thanks to our good pal Dory and Broggy putting so much into their attacks, where the weapons they were using for those centuries break, which goes to show how old those weapons were all over the time, and how they stayed sturdy till then. I have no idea.
One
So,
Piece. Another One Piece logic I need answers to.
so they're sailing to the next island. So the next island, which is the next arc, which leads into is Drum Island, which is a fan favorite arc. Um, I think Denzel likes this arc a lot. And stuff like that. So the first thing that is the reason why we head to Drum Island is because we find out that Nami is apparently sick and she's very ill.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we later find out she caught this sickness from Little Garden from a bug that was in the area in Little Garden. But she's apparently sick and nobody knows what to do. They don't have a doctor, obviously, and they're trying to do the best they can to make sure she's good and everything. And Nami tries to will herself out there, but you can see that she clearly is in no way good to navigate. Like, she is heating up and she's getting worse by the second. Now, in the meantime, we get probably one of the more annoying One Piece villains I have ever seen in my effing life.
Yes.
Let me, Oh my god!
Careful, don't hit your head.
I'm on my bed, so I hit my head on the pillow.
I thought you almost hit your head right.
Nope. So, this very much annoying villain, and arguably one of the worst One Piece villains ever in the entire franchise, who brings literally nothing to the story other than being a complete a-hole, is the fact that we run into this guy named Wapple. His devil fruit power is the Munch Munch fruit, or the I'm not even gonna say the freaking devil fruit name, whatever it is. But for continuity reasons, I'll say it: the Baku Baku no Mi, the Munch Munch fruit. Essentially, he can eat anything. And he gets on Luffy's ship and legit starts eating the Going Merry. Now, Luffy ends up punching him away, and he goes off as far as Team Rocket does. Now, the interesting thing about to notice is Vivi seen Wapple. Now, we later find out she had an undisclosed backstory when she was younger, and he kind of treated her like a douchebag as well when she was younger. Now, the thing is, they head to this snowy, island called Drum Island because the next island they said they would get to, they would ask around to see if they're a doctor. Now, the people on Drum Island do not take well to their kind, and they have them surrounded. Now, the main, I guess you can say, leader of Drum Island, which is my main man, Dalton, he kind of tells Luffy and the others, yo, you need to go away. We do not welcome pirates here. Now, Luffy's like, well, you see, we have, one of our crewmates is very sick and we need to see a doctor. And they're still like, listen, you can't come on this island regardless. And they say, leave now or we will engage. They end up shooting Vivi, even though Vivi gets nicked. Now, Luffy takes this personally and he's about to beat them up. But thanks to Vivi, she actually stops him and she's like, no, we can't fight with these guys. We're here for more reasons. We're here for Nami. And Luffy settling down, which I guess you can say that's a Luffy Vivi shipping moment right there.
I guess you can say that.
Yeah. So Luffy, this man Luffy, as a pirate captain, gets on his knees and he's like, "Please help me. My crewmate is sick, and I need your help. And I just need a doctor and stuff like that." So even though reluctantly, Dalton's like, "Okay, fine. As long as you ain't causing any trouble, we're good. You can go park your ship somewhere or dock it, and we'll be back, and we can take you to a dock." So they get on Drum Island. Obviously, they pack up. They make sure Nami's warm and everything because it's a winter island and stuff like that. And this when we get introduced to Drum Island and stuff like that. And Drum Island is a winter tundra, to say the least.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Dalton. I really do like Dalton. Dalton is a really good person, and he's a really good character, especially when we get later to the backstory. Did you like Dalton, Denzel?
I like it. Yeah.
Okay, so Dalton goes on saying the fact that the doctor isn't in town, and the doctor you're looking for essentially is like a witch, which we later find out is Dr. Correa. Now, the thing about Dr. Correa is they kind of do a parody of Santa Claus because of the reindeer of Chopper and the fact that she actually uses a legit sleigh. Um,
Oh.
yeah. So they said, well, listen, the doctor just left, but if you go up to the castle on the top of this mountain, you'll be able to find Dr. Correa, the witch doctor, as they call her, and stuff like that. So Luffy and Sanji prepare to go to the various journey on the really tough journey to get not BB Nami to this doctor, our Dr. Correa. One big tidbit I like to mention: the one bear with the hat where they had to pay their respect to. I did find that funny, where they had to like bow their respect, and the bear's like, I'm like, okay, random. Dalton also does say, beware of these dangerous bunny-like creatures, which Luffy and Sanji run into the way and stuff like that. So, yeah. Now, in the meantime, what Zoro and Karo are doing on the ship, this man Zoro, for some reason, decides to take a nice little swim in a ice-frozen lake.
He's got nerves of steel.
Long story short, Zoro ends up getting lost again, and he has no shirt on and no shoes on. Now Vivi and Usopp find him later on and stuff like that. Also, another bad thing to mention is that Wapol, for some reason, somehow caught up to them and made it back to Drum Island. And we find out that Wapol used to rule, or used to be the ruler or king of Drum Island. In other words, he was being just a dictator.
Yeah.
Which Dalton goes into the backstory about that, and this is essentially teaches Vivi here, how she wants her country to be run. And the interesting tidbit is that Dalton, he's like, hold on, haven't I seen you before? You look familiar. Obviously, if you go cut back to the flashback in Vivi's past, Dalton saw Vivi when she was a little girl. Back in the flashback when there was some, I believe, meeting, I think at a reverie a long time ago. But that's why Dalton's like, don't I know you? You look very familiar. Now Vivi wants to keep it hidden because she doesn't want to know. She doesn't want to let it be known like I'm the princess of Alabasta because stuff like that. But the thing is here, what I like Vivi is, she shows her thing of how a country should be ruled, and she gives even Dalton suggestions, and Dalton's like, wow, you really sound like you know what you're talking about. And Vivi's like, well, it's just a thought and stuff like that. I do think Dalton later finds out by the end of the arc, from what I remember, that she is the princess of Alabasta and stuff like that. So it was interesting to see, Vivi's point of, mode of how she wants her ideal country to be run, which obviously will be Alabasta many, many years later after her dad passes away. But honestly, if you're looking at it now, she might actually be the queen of Alabasta in the next couple of years because her dad looks like he's on death's door.
Yeah, and yet he's still alive, yet to this very day. Okay.
Yeah. That's mostly because he got sick, remember?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Now again, Wapol catches up with Luffy and Sanji.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, he's becoming a complete nuisance, and I'm like, come on already. Can this guy go away? Um, Now the thing is, what happens is earlier before Wapol shows up, one of the bunnies, you know, who were attacking Luffy and Sanji looked like they were going to, you know, you got into some trouble, and Luffy actually helps one of the bunnies, which in return, when it looks like Luffy and Sanji are in trouble because Sanji actually gets knocked out here in this short little bout of Wapol. The bunnies actually help Luffy and save Luffy from getting attacked by Wapol because he's trying not to make any rapid movements because Nami's on his back and he doesn't want Nami to get hurt because of him using his devil fruit powers and probably whipping back and forth. But the bunnies manage to, I guess, stall Wapol, but Wapol ends up beating those bunnies. Now, what I might say is the most admirable scene, and probably one of my favorite Luffy scenes of all time, was when he did the perilous climb up the mountain in frozen weather on essentially an ice wall with holding Sanji with his teeth, his jacket through his teeth, and Nami on his freaking back. Look, if this isn't in your top 10 Luffy moments, you really have to be questioning Luffy. And the fact that we know Luffy is a person that treasures his friends. The fact that Luffy would make this journey to do this for his friends, when he could have said, I ain't gonna try, I'm just gonna give up. It just speaks a lot. I was like, dude, this man Luffy is another guy. You were gonna say? Because I know what you're talking about.
God, he went through so much bloodshed just to climb up.
Yeah, when he slid down, I can just oh my god, I can just hear it too. And listen, I don't think I would have the guts to do that, but Luffy, it shows that, he loves his friends and he doesn't want them to go, which is a hint to a future storyline on why he doesn't want to lose people. So he ends up climbing somehow on top, and in the meantime, Dr. Correa actually gets there. So when we finally recover, Nami actually wakes up in this bed, and she sees this little reindeer character. This reindeer character scared. And stuff like that. We later know that's Chopper. A little funny gag is Luffy and Sanji think Chopper is food, and they chase after him and stuff like that. Now Chopper can transform, and we see that he has a devil fruit power. And his devil fruit power, which I'll get to in a second, is which hold on. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna say the English translation. I don't know the no me thing, but we see that he had eaten when he was essentially in his backstory, he ate a devil fruit and it's the human fruit. With that, he can take human form and he can essentially talk. So yeah. I will say Chopper is a very cute little reindeer, which is one of the main reasons why he's a huge selling point in Japan. They love their Chopper.
doesn't make me happy at all. I mean,
Yeah, so that's also Chopper's thing is if you compliment him, he kind of gets flustered and says, "Oh, you stupid bastard! Like, don't kind of do that stuff with me." And it's just a nice little playful attitude. Now, Dr. Kareha, we find out, is a very old woman. And when I mean old woman, I think she's over the age of like, no, I think she is actually 150 years of age, which is
more.
crazy.
I'm pretty sure she's more than that.
So she's really, really old. Now, how old, frizzled woman, which thank goodness she's not in real life because she heard me say that, she'd probably clobber me. Yes. The fact that she's living in this cold country, yeah, I have no idea. Now, Dr. Correa, we find out, thanks to Chopper's backstory, she is the person that kind of taught Chopper everything he knows in terms of medicine and being a doctor and stuff like that. Now I love the one funny gag is when we all know Sanji likes women, but when it comes to Kureha, he's like, oh God, it's the old woman. And let's just say she kind of beats him up and scares the living daylights out of him. The point he kind of respects her by the time the arc ends, which I found hilarious and stuff like that. Now, we're gonna run through. Well, actually, what happens is Wapple actually catches up, finds the castle. He confronts everybody that's in the castle, and the thing is, he sees the flag, which is a representation to Chopper's main inspiration, which is Dr. Haralock. So we're gonna get into the backstory of Chopper. Chopper's backstory essentially is he was rejected by his own kind, and he had nobody. When he finally ate the human fruit, he transformed, and people thought he was a monster. Now I'm talking about okay. I heard in the manga version, Dr. Haralock is a complete a-hole, but I'm going to talk about the anime version here. I'm talking about the anime version. Now, Dr. Haralock, he's a doctor himself, but he kind of doesn't look like he knows what he's doing because he actually turns one guy into a frog. Which I have no clue. What the heck am I watching here? Next thing you know, an injured Chopper comes across. Wow, it got really dark in there. You want me to pause the video?
Yeah, excuse me, guys. I'm going to turn on.
Okay. So the thing about Dr. Haralock and Chopper, he meets up with Chopper meets up with Dr. Haralock. They, Haralock, can hear that Chopper can talk and everything, and he nurses Chopper back to health and everything. Now, the thing about which was kind of sad is Dr. Haralock tries to push Chopper away, even though he doesn't want to, but he's doing it. He's like, go away. I don't like you no more. And I think he even tries to shoot him. And Chopper goes away and stuff like that. And but eventually they find themselves back together again, and they just agree to be friends. And this is when we get into the sad part. So we find out that Dr. Haralock, he actually comes down with a sickness which is uncurable at this point in time. And Chopper, looking through the medicine books, which he thinks that he found it a curable way by grabbing this mushroom, and he went through life and limb to get this. And my goodness, he made Dr. Haralock eat the mushroom, thinking that it was the right mushroom to feed him to make him healthy. But what do we find out, Denzel?
Do I have to say it word for word?
If you want to.
Go ahead, dude.
We find out, thanks to Dr. Kureha, is because she calls Chopper a fool. He's like, you fed him a mushroom that is very highly poisonous, and you just sped up his death. Now, in the meantime, Dr. Haralock, because also we find out is in Drum Island, because Wapple's the ruler, this man Wapple is so bad, he hogged all the doctors to himself. Goes to show you how much of a bad guy he is. Now, Dalton actually works for him, but Dalton, he doesn't agree with what Wapple's doing. He sees Dr. Hairluck, and Dr. Hairluck is up on near the castle. And to say that and essentially, I forgot the line in the anime that Dr. Hairluck said, but he essentially drinks something that kind of kills himself, and it was a way to show, like, listen, you know, show, listen, just one simple thing can change, and that was what he's about. Now, Chopper saw this; he was too late, and he goes on a rampage trying to take out everybody. Now, Dalton actually stops him, like legit stops him. We find out Dalton can transform as well, so he obviously is eating a devil fruit, I believe. So Chopper retreats and stuff like that. Now, obviously, Chopper seeing Wapple is obviously pissed, and he goes into attack Wapple, but he's having trouble. But then when it looks like, Chopper's losing, and then Wapple's gonna blow up the Dr. Hairluck flag, Luffy stands in front of it, does that iconic pose on the castle, and he holds the flag in place. And obviously, Luffy, knowing that what a flag means for anybody, he knows what that means for Chopper and stuff like that. And then that's when, which I'm not going to talk about, that's when we get the fight between Luffy and Wapple, how Luffy struggled with Wapple. No clue, but thank God he got rid of him. Anyways, to wrap this whole thing up, Nami's better. They decide to leave. And they also decide to ask Chopper to join the crew as the doctor of the crew. And Chopper actually, because Chopper's like, no, I can't do this. But Luffy literally interrupts him mid-sentence. He's like, shut up, let's go! And stuff like that. He didn't even give Chopper a chance to even explain himself. He was like, let's do this thing, Chopper. You're a part of the crew now. And Chopper, realizing that there's somebody else other than Hairluck that finally accepted him for who he is, he gracefully joins the crew. Now, Kureha, in a unique way of saying goodbye, kind of is trying to force Chopper to stay with her by like, you're staying here, Chopper! Chopper! And she's kind of chasing after him by throwing all these things at him. But we get a very sad, emotional send-off to Chopper from Drum Island. And it was Dr. Kureha's way of saying goodbye is, there was these things that Dr. Kureha got from Dr. Hairluck. And essentially, as they're leaving, they look back on the top of the mountain, and you just see this pink cloud of stuff, which looks like cherry blossom trees, which is kind of the thing, is that Dr. Hairluck loved cherry blossom trees. And if that doesn't hit you, it hits you, because you could see Chopper really getting emotional. And that was his send-off and his goodbye. And you can see, even they pan over to Dr. Kureha, and you can see that she's crying. And the thing about Dr. Kureha is she saw Chopper as a son, which I loved. And it was a very emotional way to end Chopper's storyline, especially with everything that happened in the Drum Island arc. And like I said, I enjoyed the Drum Island arc. The only negative about the Drum Island arc that I did not like was Wapple. Wapple can just go die in a hole. It sucks that we see him legit later. Like, he even makes a cameo in Stampedo. Now, why he's there, I have no idea, but he's up there with Foxy in terms of characters that I do not give an F about. So yeah. So yeah. So the next thing, so the next plan is that they're just, Luffy and the others are going straight to Alabasta, and they're in a hurry to go to Alabasta to go stop that Alabasta plot line. So Chopper joins the crew, and now he is a doctor on the crew. So yeah, we'll talk more about Chopper on the crew really next arc because he kind of fits in with the crew really well with the fun and games they like to do and stuff like that. So yeah, Drum Island. I really enjoyed Drum Island other than Wapple. I like Chopper, even though it sounds like we didn't talk much about him, but still, Drum Island is pretty good. Your thoughts, Denzel, on Drum Island?
Yeah, it's really good. I do enjoy Chopper's story and stuff.
Yeah. Now, fun fact, if you didn't know, there is a movie retelling of the Drum Island arc. The only difference is the movie retelling of Drum Island, which is movie 8, retells the Drum Island arc. Just say, what if I'm guessing, what if they never went to Drum Island in the first place, and they just skipped over it. They went straight to Alabasta, did that stuff, went straight to Water 7, did the entire Ennis Lobby stuff with obviously skipping the Skypiea stuff without Chopper. They do the Water 7 and Ennis Lobby stuff. Now, I don't know how they complete that without Chopper, because Chopper was very integral to that thing when going giant. But essentially, it's like they go back to Drum Island with Robin and Frankie, and it's the same storyline with Robin and Frankie. But I heard that Robin and Frankie really don't do much in the movie. So I guess it's a kind of interesting take on, what if Robin and Frankie were with Drum Island, which makes no sense because they'd be selling backwards then, and forwards. But yeah, that's my thing. So if you want to check out that alliteration, you can. I haven't seen that alliteration, but it's essentially the same shortened story, just with Nico, Robin, and Frankie in the pirate crew. Like I said again, how they get past all that Skypiea. Well, they would probably got past Skypiea because Chopper really wasn't that much involved in Skypiea, other than taking down that one guy. And then again, how they get past Water 7 and Ennis Lobby, morally Ennis Lobby, with just, really, if we're being honest, Zoro, Sanji, Luffy, Nami, and Frankie. I really would have liked to see the complete story of that little spin-off. So yeah, but that's really it for what we got to say here. Anything to say before we close off this video?
Oh, that's it for me, actually.
Okay. So next week we finish the Alabasta arc, or the Alabasta saga, with the Alabasta arc. And that's going to be the only arc we talk about next week. We won't be talking about anything else other than strictly Alabasta. So everything that appears in Alabasta, we talk about it. So
since that arc is pretty long.
Yeah. Yes, and also it's the main arc in 2. I think it's going to make our job much more easier. We won't get back to starting to talk about 2 different arcs again till I believe next in 2 Sundays. Which after that we talk about Jaya and some another arc in Jaya. But other than that, that's all we got to say here. So next Sunday we'll see you guys for the Alabasta arc, which is one of my favorite arcs in the One Piece story, because it's got heart, emotion, drama, and damn near sadness. So I know Denzel's looking forward to it and stuff like that. So we're gonna get out of here, and we'll catch you guys on the next video next week. Till then, guys, hopefully you guys are having a great night. I'm not, because my Clippers lost. But other than that, hopefully you guys are having a great rest of your night. So till then, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Peace.